Hello everybody, I am Baltmatrix, and today we are taking a look at Cang-Toys mini figure of Dive Bomb. That's right, they made Legends class figures for these little guys. This is the first figure. It came out probably at the end of October. I picked this up at TFCon Baltimore from The Chosen Prime. It is really cool, and it's very sharp and pointy. Pointy, yes. Sharp, not so much. The figure comes packaged in robot mode, which we'll get into in a minute, and the wings are detached. But this figure without the wings, I mean, you need the wings. You really need the wings. Now, size-wise, how big is Deburb mode? Deburb mode is roughly the same size as Legends Class Beachcomber. It's not very big at all. The molding and the detail that's on the wings and the rest of the figure is simply phenomenal. You've got look at the little hydraulics that are individually painted and molded in here, and the whole figure just feels super solid. The chest and the bird head and the bird body all work incredibly well. Yeah, there's hollowness in the legs. Nothing I can really do about that. The talons are well painted. Just everything is well painted and well detailed, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. Now, the directions and all of the promo pictures have the tail feathers as clear plastic. That is not the case. They are solid plastic. And let me get the wings and the side feathers out of the way. Just getting everything out of the way ends up untransforming part of it. Yeah, these tail feathers are solid plastic. There's no translucency going on here, or transparency either. Each individual feather is posable on a hinge, or on a swivel, sorry, and they can pose down, and then the top ones can move up a good amount, so you have a lot of range of movement for each individual feather, of which there are 4 on the outside of the wing. Then there's an interior feather, which moves in and out, and then obviously the tail feathers open and close. I do have 2 minor complaints with the bird mode. 1, the hollow legs here. Nothing you could really do about that. And 2, what are obviously robot arms on the back of the bird don't peg in together all that well. They're supposed to. And there are even little pegs in there, but it just doesn't want to stay pegged together. Head sculpt on the bird mode is excellent. It has kind of a bird fighter jet motif going. I like it a lot. And the mouth does open and close very easily, which I greatly appreciate. If there's one major fault that I actually cannot forgive in the bird mode, is that there's nowhere to plug in a flight stand of any sort. There's no peg hole on the bottom, and there's no way or spot on the bird mode that a flight stand can peg into, which is terrible. That stinks. That really is not good, because this thing begs to be on a flight stand. To remove the wings, they are very easy to get off. You just wiggle them and slide them down these pegs, and they come right off. They go on equally as easily. Not a lot of force is required. I'm going to remove them for the transformation, just so you can see what's going on, because even though the wings are awesome, the figure is a little bit monochromatic, and you lose some of the detail. Okay, transformation time. To start off with, come to the legs, simply straighten them out, and then on the backs of the legs are these little red pieces. You want to flip them up because there is a peg inside that will snap into the shin and hold the lower legs in place. So do that on both legs. Fold that up, flip that in, snap that into place, and then come to the thighs and turn the legs around at the thigh swivel. Be careful, though, because these thigh swivels, at least on my figure, are very, very, very tight and require a lot of force in order to get them to move. Next, come to the arms that are obviously on the back. Fold them forward, and they will just rest there for a second. Then come to the bird head, close the mouth, grab the bird head and flip the entire head and the section that is just behind the head around, and that will peg into place just by the shoulders. And the bird head can fold down, or you can turn the bird head around 180 degrees, and will sit a little bit flusher like that. Come to the chest, open it up, flip up the robot head, close up the chest, and then flip up the shoulder pads and open up the forearms and flip out the fists like that. In the bird mode, you're supposed to have the tail feathers pulled all the way out like this, like it currently is. To get it folded up, just flip it up on that double hinge, and you're done. Posability for this little dude is very good. Head is on a ball joint, and then there's a hinge underneath that for the neck. Ball joint in the shoulder, swivel above the elbow. Elbow bends 90 degrees. No fist articulation. There is torso articulation. Side skirts and the front skirt and the back skirt all move and can pose and get out of the way. One thing you do have to be careful of is if you get it in certain poses, sometimes the skirts do get stuck in the legs. And there is a cat, there is a thigh swivel, bend at the knee, and then feet are individually posing. And why are you nuzzling the robot? Why are you nuzzling the little robot? Huh? Leave the little robot alone, please. Head sculpt is actually a little bit on the drab side compared to the rest of the figure, but I'm okay with that given the bombacity of the rest of the toy. And you know what? The original Dive Bomb's head sculpt wasn't that great either. The figure comes with 3 accessories, the first of which is this big old hand for the combined mode. It's very posable. It's got individual knuckles and joints in each finger, and yeah, that is a really good hand. Then the other accessories are a very big choppy sword, which is going to be able to combine with other items to form a real big arse sword. And this big gun, multi-barreled cannon. 5 barrels? No, 4 barrels. 4 barrels in the middle. Yeah, that's really cool. I keep thinking that it's supposed to open up or something because it looks like it's jointed. It isn't. It is really well detailed, though, like really well detailed. And yes, this is going to combine with all the other guns that all the other characters come with to form a giant big old gun. Now, adding the wings onto the figure and getting him to hold his weapons, the figure looks absolutely phenomenal. I cannot argue with the overall look of this. Those wings are utterly beautiful, and the overall aesthetic just works so well. It very, very much has a new year. I think a year of the snake vibe. The reddish orange, the gold. It's a beautiful figure. It really is. The wings add quite a bit of extra weight to the figure once they're attached, but thankfully the gigantic feet make up for that, and all of the joints are nice and tight and stiff, and just you can pull off so many nice poses with this thing. I mean, the only thing that I could come up with negative-wise, the only true complaint I have with this figure in robot mode is the lack of a port for a flight stand. You're going to have to figure out how to get one of the stands with, like the grabby claws onto the figure. Not the worst thing in the world, but I would have loved there have just been a little hole just somewhere that I could plug a stand into. Even with a half-decent flight stand, getting that clip around the body of the figure is not easy. You end up kind of have to slightly untransformed the bird head. But I can't argue with the aesthetic. Those wings are just beautiful. I wasn't sure what to make of this because I absolutely despise the original Cang-Toys figures, the masterpiece scale ones. They are such a nightmare to transform. They're not fun. They just aren't. This, however, this is a blast. This little guy is absolutely worth having in your collection, and I'm glad they released this one first, because the wings are just so much fun. They've got so many hinges. Hinge joint, vertical hinge joint, swivels for the wings. It's just an absolute ball to pose and play with. And I can understand why this has reached and jumped into some folks' figures of the year for 2021. It's a blast. It absolutely is. I realize I haven't done a size comparison. Here you go. Legends to Legends. It's a little bit bigger than a current Legends class figure. So folks, pick this one up. I'm serious. Just Forget that it's a Predacon. Forget that it's going to be part of a combining set. This one is totally worth having in your collection. Yeah, it's a legend size class, but it's so cool. It's so much fun. And my fingers don't hurt after playing with it. So that's definitely a positive in and of itself. All right, folks, let me know what you think of this figure down in the comments. Please be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. I picked this up over at the Chosen Prime. Link for them is down in the description, so you can head over there and pick it up yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Baltmatrix, and I'll catch you all next time.